Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Week 8, program Sarbat Da Bhalla. This week, joining us from the United Kingdom, Virji Mohinderpal Singh. ਤੇ अपना इस हफ्ते दी शब्द तो दवाना जानिए साहिब करे प्यार बंदा जाने आपको अवर भला संसार. Virji, we have a very beautiful shabd for this week, which talks about nimrata, किदा आपा अपने आप नु बंदा जानिए ते बाकी everyone else as greatness, as beautiful. Right, reciting this shabda throughout the week. Share with us, Virji. What do you find? How do you experience? So that everyone knows better.
Thanks, Virji. Thanks. The shabda to devana janiye, ja sahib tere pyar, manda jane aapko avar pala sansar. It's a very beautiful shabd, and that the meaning of the shabd was very inspiring for me throughout the week. To actually see the good in everybody, and to see Waheguru in everything as much as you can, and at the same time to look at your inner kamjoriya, your inner weaknesses. Because as sare samjhde hai that we have nothing wrong with us. We are always asi thika. Other people have to change and fix themselves. But going through with this shabd every day for me this whole week was very inspiring, and it wasn't easy. So I work in a very pressurized environment. So to go through the process was very interesting. First, let me share my experience when I actually first got the shabd and started to understand it. The first thing that came to me was like how our Gurujis and how some Bhagats actually see Waheguru in everything. I remember the Sakhi of Bhagat Kabirji when he saw a kutta coming and taking a roti and running away, and how Bhagat Kabirji ran after the kutta and said, "Hey, you don't want," it was going with kyo, he said, "You don't want a chopper?" He saw Waheguru in everybody, and that was amazing. And there was also other of our Bhagats who were, there was one Sakhi which I can't remember the Bhagat's name, but it's where his house was burning and prawny sare aaye and took out all the chija and everything, and then he actually came and he said, "Tusi kar diya?" "Oh no, we're saving bachonde aaye or chija." I said, "No, hey, Waheguru da agga, this I'm happy that he's taking." So you throw back all the chija inside the agga, It's just a very inspiring shabd. But to live with the shabd is very tricky. So I actually went through the week, and what I did was I started my week inspired with the shabd. The first thing I did was I gave people a lot of compliments. So, and I don't do this often enough. So I went to work, and the first thing I did was all those things that people did good throughout the 3 months, 6 months where I worked. I started giving them points. I see points where you can actually get good things. You can go and buy chija. It's all part of the system in the company. And I was so happy to do that. Because people do a lot of management, but sometimes everyone's busy and everything, and not being able to do that. But the tricky bit was this: to see the gun in somebody is quite hard. I was going through a lot of experience through the days, like on Somwar, Etwar, Mangalwar, and I found that I was in situations where when I go through with meetings and stuff, sometimes I'm a bit of a hard person to please sometimes. But now I'm always a bit calmer, and I listen to what the other person is saying. And there was one situation, Thora Junior, but he doesn't know who am I. Asif Pelawari Milya on Zoom, and then he thinks Mera Nami Mohindra, so maybe India which come karda, He doesn't know I'm in the UK and I'm looking after the team. So he said, "Hey, itai karna," and usually what I would have done is I would have sitta straight away. "Hey, hello, karna, please, huh?" But now I listened to him. I say, Nene, let's listen to Eki Kenda, Let me go through that process with him. And then I tell him nicely, I say, Nene, this is who we are, this is what we have to do. And it makes my whole day go better. Because if I am upset with somebody, my whole day will become kharab. I also won't enjoy my day. And it brings my levels of my emotions, control karte hain. But the biggest thing I learned from this whole Shabad is this. To see the good in somebody, you need to find a way to see your good, even in your enemies. And the only way I can think of it from my perspective is how with Sikhi, I learned Sikhi, which is what Guruji says is a with pyar dena, preet dena. And that is the thing I think which really help people in this process. If you have pyar, if you look with everybody with love, and you respect people with love, there's no hate. And then you can do the next thing. That's what I really got from the Shabad this week. It wasn't easy. There were days like or where I was tired. You thought to see tired ho gaya when you're hungry. You can't think properly. And it's very hard to practice even when in that scenario, It's not easy. I remember how with Guruji, Bhala and the other Pai Sahib, oh my God, his name, he used to always be hungry. So that was the story as well. He used to be hungry as well, and actually, it was very nice when he used to Surat Prakash Grant and the Katha. So it's not easy when you're hungry to react to things. But I learned a lot from the Shabad this whole week. It was amazing.
Good. So Virji, I hear you have acknowledged someone this week, right? You gave extra points, extra rewards to some employees, trying to change your behavior, to acknowledge, So I think these are very good examples, which I think very close to this chapter. To take it to the next level, Virji, do you mind sharing with us, some of the weakness that you have seen in yourself? And then, how does this creation of theirs, this beautiful creation of theirs, have its greatness that complement to your weakness?
I think that's a very good question. I think it's never easy to look in your own weaknesses, in yourself. I think if we can go through a process, you learn faster. And the way you can learn through a process, in my opinion, is to reflect on yourself. So we make mistakes. We make mistakes in life, and the way you go through it is, if you go through Sarbat Da Bhalla program, every Shabad that you go through every week and you go through the process, after the week has completed, take reflection. Look at the process. So in this instance, it's the weakness, right? I am not someone who's always calm. I have growth in me as well. And sometimes I get annoyed. And how do I control that? And I realize that there are things that can really help me, make me calmer. So for example, simple stuff. Eating in the right time also makes me calmer. Because when I'm hungry, I get angry. So go and eat your food, you get calmer. But Sangat is very important. For me, Sangat is very important. The right Sangat you are with, it reflects with you and you learn from the same Sangat. And it rubs off on you. So go to Gurdwara Sahib, go to the good Sangat, and then you learn all the good guna. And you forget about all the small things in life. All the things which you think is important, that people think, so putti galai, it's nothing. Okay, one day we're all going to die. So think of that concept perspective. If you have nothing, then you have nothing to lose as well. So I find that really interesting. So there are always weaknesses in us, but to overcome those weaknesses, to go to the next step, reflection is important. So that's why Loki can there after a few months, look at your CV, update your CV to see what did you learn, to see improve kita. The same thing with this as well in life. take reflection, take stock of how your life has gone, and you will actually be able to improve it. Of course, saying is different than doing. So you have to do. So that is, and that's where the Sangat will help you. That's where Academy helps you. That's where Tusibi Board Sevakate, with the interviews, it really helps people. Every week, like clockwork, go see the Sarbat Da Bhalla, find out what's the next shabd, learn and move on. And it's not difficult, right? It's not hard. It's one shabd, 1 week.
Hey, thank you, Virji. Excellent. Virji, would you mind sharing more tips, with us or with the Sangat? How do you feel that, whenever we see people, who are, non-desired, people we don't feel comfortable talking to, right? Or we have growth, like what you mentioned, when we face them, how do we usually remind ourselves? How do you remind yourself that, hey, there's also presence of Waheguru in him?
I think I see a lot of individuals at work, and I am generally a glass half full wala, not a half empty. So I'm always looking at the positive side of people. I think I am anyway. That's what I think. So we have to look at the positive in everybody. Someone who can, even if we think Banda Thoraja maybe is bad, or maybe I've heard bad things about him, always go into the conversation with an open mind and positive, then I'll listen to what he has or she has to say. If you think that it's not good, it's not for you, then take her. But be nice. And I say this is where the PR comes in, right? When you don't have hate, when you have love, with everybody you can actually connect with them. And Waheguru is in everyone. It is. So even when people were fighting Jung and all with Guru Gobind Singh, he was like admiring their sword play, and he said, "Oh wow, that's just a different thing." But it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. Yeah. How can you see Waheguru in your own enemy? It's very hard. So that's why we have to start somewhere. So have love, and always go into the process like that. But we have to also be realistic, because you cannot go into a conversation and you're always smiling and you're always happy, and people say, "Well, banda serious ni lah, what is he doing?" Right. There are situations which will be different where you have to do that. I find that even with someone who I'm not comfortable with, I try to listen to the good in them, and then I only take the good away. Because I know that I don't like office politics, and I don't like the other bits that happen in the background. So I stay away from them. I say, "Minum, Shado, please, I don't want to get involved." So you have to pick and choose. And that's where I think the process goes through, and you learn from experience. But it's not easy. It's a journey. It's not that today you learn the shop, tomorrow you are like that. Right. Of course not. It's a journey, right? Correct. So, but don't. The journey will be hard. It will not be easy. There'll be disappointments, and you will doubt yourself. But you continue with the journey. That is what you do, and you go and get your meet with the Sangat, and you rejuvenate yourself. You energize yourself, and when you're with good people, you always smile and you laugh. You know automatically. You have no fear. You have only love, and I think you will figure that out in life very quickly. Who are people important for you, and who will support you?
All right. Hey, Virji, thank you very much. Very glad to have you. Part of the program. Our very first participant from a distance. So glad to have you with us, sharing your experience. Thank you very much, Virji. Waheguru Ji ka
Thank you.
Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.